So I'm going to show you now some of those drawings that I did during that process, and also give you a few comments about how I sort of go about the drawings. So another one that I drew quite early on was this beautiful beech tree. I did this one in wintertime. And one thing I will just point out to you, if you look closely at that tree, you can see that at the top, the branches and the twigs go straight upwards. When you're drawing trees, to make them look realistic, it is very important that you pay attention to where the branches are on the tree, because the angles of the branches will reflect how they hold the leaves. But also in summertime, if we look at the oak leaves here, you can see again there, the twigs at the top, the leaves are sort of round the twigs. But if you come down, you can see that the way in which you draw the leaves around the twigs is slightly different. Now with oak, because you've got the lobed leaves, I tend to use little tiny squiggly lines to fill in the leaves, whereas beech, I would use a slightly different line, and it's paying attention to these details that will help your tree to come alive. And this one here is a Druid's oak that grows in Burnham Beeches, which is about 800 years old. So you've got some of the dead wood in the middle, which I love depicting as well. And then if we come on to this beech tree, you can see there again how the angle of the twigs varies depending whether it's at the top of the tree or at the sides. And then if I come on to the next image, I've just got a little bit of that tree, but I've done some little sketches to show you. First of all, at the top right-hand side, you've got the leaves around the twigs pointing straight up at the top. Then I've done some of the twigs with the leaves in sunlight, as they would be on the branches low down looking towards you. But if you're looking through the tree to the twigs on the far side, remember the leaves will look smaller and they will actually be silhouetted. So all these little details you can put into the leaves to make them look lifelike. And also it will help to make your image look more three-dimensional. Now, when I depict trees, I depict them, I'm capturing a moment in the life of that tree. And so they may be alive, they can even be dead, because a dead tree has got a strange personality to it. It's gaunt in a way, but it's not the end of the story. Slowly it rots away, and all the nutrients from it will fuel the new trees. So got this dead beech, but just behind it, you've got, I think it's probably mostly holly growing up. And as the beech tree rots away, it will actually feed that holly and enable it to grow. But in Burnham Beeches and the New Forest, another thing that will grow or live amongst the roots of these old trees and in amongst that soft litter there are wood ants. And I hadn't realized how rare they are because, you know, I've sort of known them in all the places where I've been. But it just shows you how you've got a whole lot of wildlife tied up with these trees. And every tree is unique in a way. And it's the tree it is because of all the experiences it's had during its life. So, as I say, in Burnham Beeches and New Forest and Windsor Great Park, some of the oak and beech trees can be as much as 500 years old, or with oaks, maybe 1,000. But on the opposite side of the river, Thames, you can just see in this shot, in the middle there, the white walls of all that remains of Ankerwick Priory. But that mound behind the dead-looking tree on the left is actually a mound of yew. And in amongst that is the Ankerwick yew. And here it is. Now, the Ankerwick yew is supposed to be 2,500 years old. So, of course, knowing this tree was there, I had to draw it. But how do you draw a tree like that, that's just a mound of leaves or foliage? The first time I saw it, I walked straight past it, and I didn't even realize it was there because the branches swoop right down to the ground, and you can't see it, but to the left of the picture, some of them are then growing up as new trees. So I walked around it from that side, and so I didn't actually realize that there was this tree there. And so it was when I came back that I suddenly started to spot the trunk under this tree. And it's a mighty tree, but very difficult to know how to capture. So I've done it a couple of times, and this was one of them. I got under the tree and there was a fallen limb from it there at that time. And you can see how the trunk has become fluted. And with yew trees, what happens is that the central part of the trunk rots away, and the new growth, the new branches, are all on the outside. And each year they will produce a new ring of growth, a new wood that can get down to the roots and get the water and the nutrients from the soil that the tree needs to survive. And I think the second anchowick yew that I drew probably shows this ring of trunks better than the first one, because you can see how you've got these fluted rings of trunks all the way around it. Inside that is a hollow tree, and there's all sorts of legends attached to this tree. It would have been a silent witness to the Magna Carta in 1215. And then Henry VIII was supposed to have courted Anne Boleyn under its boughs. Maybe he even proposed to her inside the hollow trunk, hidden from passers-by and all his court.